I'm Janet Richmond, and this is the Higher Self Voice.
Welcome back to the show. I'm really happy to be here. I have a wonderful guest today. His name is Preston Gazowsky, and he is originally from Hawaii, born and raised there, and has been in the LA area about 3 years. He's a champion surfer and also working to continue his acting craft here. So I'm just going to move straight to Preston. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing great.
And is there anything that you want to talk to the audience or the viewers about?
Talk to about what?
Okay, so maybe a little bit of your journey. You grew up in Hawaii,
sure,
and
yeah.
I guess surfing was a big part of your life there.
Yes, I grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii. Started surfing when I was a little kid. Used to compete. And yeah, the ocean's a huge part of my life. It's what keeps me grounded. It's what I enjoy. It's what makes me happy.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But then at some point the acting bug hit you,
Mm-hmm.
and you decided to come to LA. You have some roots, I guess, in California. Your parents used to live in San Francisco area, or do now? Clarify it for me.
Yes. Well, my parents met in San Francisco in the hippie era and moved to Hawaii, had me, and when I was 16, they bought a house in Northern California, and they moved back.
Okay.
I stayed in Hawaii because I was not moving to vineyard in the middle of nowhere in California with no ocean. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you stuck with the ocean, and
Mm-hmm.
so when did the acting bug hit you?
So it actually first hit me when I was in like first grade.
Okay.
I was in first grade. I was in like a speech class / theater class.
Okay.
And I always loved it. I just loved performing, memorizing, just learning different. I don't know, just learning how to pronounce, say, I don't know, just the whole thing. And then so I used to ask my mom how do I become an actor? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. So that's when it ended right there.
So it started and ended in first grade. Then what happened?
Then I went to college and I enrolled in a theater class there. And I bombed horrible.
Oh, that's right. I remember. I didn't know Preston before, so I got together with him, a couple of weeks ago. It was a couple of weeks ago. And it was fun to hear his story, and he told me about bombing. Tell the viewers. It's a pretty cute story.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing a play, and we had to do an accent, and I forgot all my lines. And I couldn't do the accent or anything, and so then I pretty much quit acting again for another year, and I just started to, at that point in my life, I started to go more towards fine arts and to work on my ceramics and oil painting and stuff like that. So
Wow,
and that's what
creative
I
soul.
focused on in school after that theater class.
Okay, so then what was the third? I hope the third time was a charm. What happened the third time to get you back into it?
Third time, there was a lot of movies and television that would come to Hawaii and film, and I started to get randomly background roles,
Being an extra kind of thing?
Yeah, being an extra.
Being the surfer in the background?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, and so and then I would become friends with the other actors, the series regulars or the leads in the films, and I'd show them the islands, and I'd be like, damn, I'd be like, so this dream is actually real. These people are living it. Might as well I try. So
you did.
I eventually gathered up enough courage. The book The Alchemist actually helped me out a lot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Coelho.
Yeah, exactly. And then I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area for an easier transition, and then I lived there for a year, met some friends from Hawaii that were also there, and we all moved down to LA together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you've been here
for 3 years
3
now.
years. And
Yeah.
so far the acting is going pretty well, maybe? Or-
Yeah. It's a long-term goal. It's a long-term process, which I understand, which a lot of people don't realize is an overnight success is 8 to 10 years. So
Right.
I'm on my third.
You're on your third year.
Yeah, I mean, each you know, it's just consistently putting in work, little roles here and there, and just
Nice,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's the way you have to start.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, what about your spiritual interests? Because this is a show sort of that deals with things outside the five senses.
Mhm.
Now you're at the age where career and all of that is very important, so of course I can understand the focus on that. Do you have spiritual interests, spiritual approaches, viewpoints, ideas, anything, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I love spirituality.
Okay, but you don't know my work.
I don't know. I don't know specifically your work.
Okay, which I wanted to get that out so that the
Mhm.
people listening, viewing, can understand that being on the show or doing this kind of work isn't dependent on knowing or understanding this work.
Yeah.
It's really has to do with an openness. As a matter of fact, I've had a couple of clients. Neither one of them spoke English. One spoke Hebrew and one spoke Armenian, and they
Yeah,
didn't
that's
understand.
amazing.
Yeah, they didn't understand what I was saying. So it isn't a matter of understanding. 'Cause
Yeah,
the
so-
decisions are made at the soul level.
So I don't even need to speak English.
You don't need to speak English. You can speak it with an
Good
accent.
thing I
if you-
speak Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I do a little bit though.
Oh, okay, very cool. But anyway, but they felt it, and even today, one of the women still goes around and she says in her language, because her daughter helped her, you know, I am my pure soul essence, and she swears by the work, even though I'm
Uh-huh.
not working on her anymore. So
Mhm.
I was really happy to have you on, so the viewers don't have to think or believe that they have to know it, they have to understand it.
Yeah.
We all come well equipped. We all can do this work for ourselves. It's not just me.
Yeah.
And so I like to have a variety of guests. Tell me a little bit about your spiritual orientation. I know from talking to you before, a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago, that you have ideas, and so, you know, why don't you share them with the viewers?
Yeah, I have theories. I mean, I'm a strong believer in energy. So
Nice.
I think we're all connected through energy and frequencies and different things like that.
Nice. I
As
think a
well
lot
as
of
the
people can
stars.
relate to you, yeah.
As well as the stars in the universe. So that's kind of like where my spirituality comes from.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a great starting point. It's a great foundation, and you know, clearly it's what talks to you, and it feels very connected to my work actually too.
Perfect.
Because it's
yeah.
all about energy with my work too.
Yeah.
So, okay. So earlier we were thinking about what you might want me to work with you on today.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you came up with a couple ideas. You're going to have to decide which one, but why don't you tell the viewers your two choices? And
Yeah, so one of the things I was thinking of working on was just opening up doors for myself in my career moving forward to being more unlimited, to gather, you know, how do I say, not resources, but
opportunities,
gifts or opportunities from the universe. Maybe.
developing
Yeah.
your gifts. Okay,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's all good.
And then also, one thing that I've liked to work on myself is maybe commitment issues. Like, I'm not very fond of committing to anything, plans or relationships or.
Career? Sounds like you're committed to your career to some degree anyway.
Yeah, I definitely am. Definitely have like career commitment, but
It could be
yeah,
more,
it's
maybe.
more like relationship commitment. Yeah.
Relationships. Well, you know, commitment issues come up for all of us in different ways. So
Mhm.
that's also both are great topics or arenas that I can work with. I mean, I can work with anything, but
Yeah.
but in any case, those are both great.
Pick one.
Well, I'm going to let the higher selves pick one because
Okay.
I'm not too sure, and chances are there's some sort of relationship between the two.
Mhm.
That's often the case, or they have some
Possibility.
Yeah, there's some
True.
underlying issues. that-
Interesting. I never thought of that.
Oh
I
yeah.
learn something new every day.
Very definitely a possibility. So So let me see well, we still have a little time. Do you want to just go right into the healing area or the expansion?
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Is there something burning you want to talk about? Because, because we do have some time, but we can also use it at the other end. We can. I would love, if you are so inclined, at the other end, at the other side of the healing, that if you could. It's hard sometimes, and I even hate to put it out there because I don't want you to feel any pressure, but to have some, feedback or response, or what you felt, or what you didn't feel, or what you resonated to. Or what
I always have feedback on my experiences.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Because often I don't get much. Down the line, I'll get an email, or somebody will call me, or they'll say, oh, but in the moment, sometimes they're a little bit unable to.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to,
So
express whatever you're feeling, I guess.
yeah, and sometimes the energy kind of gets you a little bit, and it does for me too. Just
Maybe
a
I'll be
little.
like bawling out after.
I don't know that you'll be crying, although people sometimes definitely have cried during these sessions.
I did do Vedic meditation recently, which was actually.
What is that exactly?
I believe it's similar to. It's pretty much the same thing as transcendental, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that I had a very profound experience with that on my
Oh, you
second
did?
time. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
it's very interesting.
Nice. First of all the viewers can do it for themselves. They just follow along the process and act as if the issues that are coming up for you are that they have them too.
Relatable.
And that they also do the releasing and the neutralizing. It's can be powerful for every viewer, even though you don't think, oh, commitment really isn't one of my issues or whatever. We have it somewhere. We've been around tens of thousands of lifetimes, and we carry it to some degree, and it manifests in different places and different ways for everybody. So
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage the viewers to follow along. I do the amalgamation process first. That's to bring us into one accord with the divine energies that we use that do the work. And I also want to
Perfect.
say that one short session isn't necessarily going to make a huge change. If you wanted to get in shape physically and you joined a gym, you wouldn't just go to the gym once and then think that's all you had to do. There has to be some commitment.
Exactly. I mean, same with surfing. People think that they can try surfing once, and they're a surfer.
Yeah. That's it.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. And so I want to also share with you, which I see you clearly understand, but also the viewers, a lot of times people want the magic bullet. And if it doesn't change their life immediately, oh, well, that didn't do anything,
Yeah.
Or either I did it wrong, or they did it wrong, or it's just a bunch of hooey or whatever. So I just want to explain that this is very powerful work, and everybody can do it for themselves. But again, if you're going to the gym, you'd go 3 or 4 times a week, or if you wanted to be a surfer, you'd make sure you were out on your board several times a week to really learn all that you can learn.
Or a day.
Or a day. There you go. Yeah. Well.
At least once a day.
Yeah.
Or at least.
I mean, I do the work on myself
Yeah.
every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So.
Well, it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert, right?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah, we don't roll out of bed and become a pro tennis player just like that, or a pianist or something.
No, even though it seems like it.
Yeah, we want that,
Yeah.
but it's a process. So, but this work is really powerful, and I encourage everyone to give it a try while
Okay.
I'm working on you.
Cool.
Okay. All right, I just got to get some water now.
Is coffee fine?
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, the focus of attention is really important with this work. It's the turn-on switch, and that's why I recommend people to shut their eyes. However, I do a lot of work as I'm out walking or exercising or doing a lot of stuff with my eyes open. So it is very, very possible, and more than possible. It works with your eyes open. It's just that when you're new at it, or you're learning it about something new, it helps you with the focus, because otherwise our minds have a way of just sort of drifting here and there, and the visual things that we see in the background can catch our attention. So we want the focus of attention to be strong in this work. And the first thing I'm going to have you focus on is something I call the pure soul essence.
Okay.
And it's not it's not about the term. It's simply a term to denote the energy behind it, which is the divine energy that every soul carries from the lowliest grain of sand to the highest, most evolved being. And this energy is everything the originating source was, is, and is becoming. And this is our powerhouse. And by focusing on it, we absolutely activate it and allow it in, because it's divine energy, can't trespass our free will. We have to invite it in, we have to give it permission to do the work. And so right now I want you to simply focus on that divine light within. You can call it whatever, that pure soul essence. I suggest sometimes using a symbol, because it's easier sometimes to focus and key in on a symbol, and the symbol I suggest is the sun. The sun is very powerful in its own right and allows us to really focus on the power of this pure soul essence. It is our purest, most perfect, most potent personal power that each of us have, and a lot of our journey is literally to become aware that we carry it, and then to understand how to use it, and then to actually use it. And so I want you to visualize, imagine, think, sense the expansion of this incredible, powerful divine light. Use that focus of attention, expand the light, have it move in through and around the totality of your physical body, in through and around the totality of your etheric bodies, in through and around the totality of your soul, that totality of your soul process, which includes the very beginning of all of our journeys when we first manifested as minerals, and then we move through the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the human kingdom on many, many hundreds and thousands of planets throughout the human kingdom universe. We have had a tremendous journey, and the pure soul essence light is moving to become one with, encompass, merge with the totality of who we are, whether it's known or unknown, whether you have any conscious knowledge or not, conscious or unconscious. And in this way, you and I and all the viewers, and I can see the viewers, past, present, and future, that are present kind of in a circle, some on either side of us. We're all becoming very large beacons of light, because as we empower and focus and enlarge the pure soul essence and have it become one with the totality, it is moving to become these huge beacons of light. We're all being joined in one accord, and this light is processing throughout the totality of the universe, known and unknown. It is creating a beacon that is drawing in souls from all walks of life, in body and out, from this planet and many other planets, to come to partake of this divine energy that we are literally providing to souls who are not aware as yet that they have this energy and they can utilize their own pure soul essence. It is a very powerful energy field, and I see legions and legions of souls that are coming in, actually quite peacefully. They come in, they partake the bits of the originating source light that they need or they're ready for, and then they move aside and more legions come in. It is a very exciting and powerful process. In any case, we're now going to become one with the originating source itself. It is simply our way to guarantee the healing is going to be happening at the very highest level. We are becoming one with that energy field, and we are able in this way also to tap into that enormous infinite resource. Okay, with that, I'm going to begin the healing, and I'm seeing right being set up immediately between the two of us is a symbolic platform, and actually two platforms are being created, which tells me both of your issues are on the table. that means that we are going to be working on both your issues. It's a symbolic platform. It literally gives me the focus of attention. And so I see you symbolically moving on to both platforms. It's just a symbol. It isn't you. Obviously, you're sitting here in front of me, but it's a symbol of you, of both the concept of expansion, the concept of becoming all you can be, tapping into your unlimited nature, opening up the doors, and then there's the you that's coming across that's afraid of commitment. Now, what I'm seeing immediately is you on the one that's afraid of commitment is looking at the other platform and is petrified. There is a part of you, it doesn't mean this, you may not relate to this at all on the conscious level, because we're talking now about the soul and the fear of commitment. We bring it in from eons of lifetimes. So what you're doing now is you're looking at the possibility of opening up all those doors and tapping into your all your gifts and talents and moving up in your career, and it's scaring you to death. Okay, you're absolutely petrified. Now, why? Why would you be petrified? Well, because that fear of commitment is deep, and it comes from a lot of other lives where you have stepped out to follow your heart, follow your desire, follow your spiritual nature, follow your creativity, moving outside the box. You have a tremendous gifts and talents. I do see it very clearly in the art field. I see it in music. I see it in the acting. You have a tremendous amount of gifts and talents. And when there have been times where you have, in many societies, many cultures that have been not very open to or inviting to those who carry the creative side, those who would move to be creative weren't following the strict religious guidelines, perhaps. It's not allowed to paint outside the lines. I mean, part of the Renaissance, for example, was really expanding the way art could be done. There used to be very heavy rules about how you could paint Madonna and Child and all of that sort of thing. And you were one that always was pushing at the edges in whatever society you were in, and not every life, but in many lives. And so what happened was you got the backlash, sometimes you were in prison, sometimes you were exiled, sometimes you were literally put to death or tortured. And as a result, there became, based on real experiences, there became this reticence to step out of the box. The drive, the part of you that is so creative, and the part of you that lives and breathes your creative nature and wants to do all of that, to develop all of that, is still there, is still present. That's why you're here. That's why you're moving toward the career that you want. The fear of commitment, however, is really holding you back. It is, whether you understand it or not, when we carry fear, it calls in, or what you have reflect on the outside is slower movement. It's like, oh, I can't do that. Maybe just a baby step, maybe just a little bit here. And it keeps the doors almost shut. Sometimes it does actually shut doors. And so what's happening is this fear of commitment, even though you were talking about it related to relationships, the big part of it is the fear of the commitment to the destiny, to the gifts and talents that you brought in to develop, to share with the world, because you carry a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of light, high frequency, however you might think of it in your terms, and you have so much to offer the world. And it will not only be playing, for example, being in a show where you're the star and you're a great actor and you do really well, but as you move out, that energy you carry, which is really high frequency, will be moving out and helping many around you, and even people who just speak your name or see the picture of you. It doesn't mean that you have to give a verbal message in what you do in your acting. I know you're very interested in comedy, so you can be funny all day long, and you are giving out this incredibly brilliant energy. Same with your music, same with your artwork. It is a very powerful frequency that you carry, and as a result, you have stepped forward in many lifetimes. As I said, you've had real experiences of being hurt, of being found to be threatening, found to be somebody that needed to be shut down because you're opening up a box for people, and maybe the authorities, either the government or the spiritual authorities, didn't want to have you. You felt like you were in conflict with them, or you were you were against them in some way. Of course, it was really their own fears. You were just trying to be all that you are, and you have had these experiences that have of real fear, real consequences. Now you've come into this life, and there isn't a chance, if you do your artwork, you do your acting, there's no chance that you're going to be put into prison for it, or buried alive, or burned at the stake. But that's the kind of thing that would happen in some of those other lives. So you've come here, and actually what I'm seeing at the soul level is this great desire to neutralize the fear. So what I want you to do is I want you to begin to, you're surrounded by this beautiful, powerful, divine light that you carry. You are one with that light, and I want you to begin to envision and see the fear of the commitment, the traumas, the physical pain. There's been pain here, not just physical but emotional pain, because a lot of times the consequence of being threatening or being in conflict with the authorities, because you're this open-hearted person and you've been that way in many lives, and those kind of people don't kowtow to the authorities. They find their own way, and you needed to be squashed so often. So I want you to let go not only of the fear, but the trauma and the drama of those experiences. You carry that deep, you're not aware of it, but I'm seeing now it's just kind of oozing out of you, at the stomach level, the heart level. It's beginning to ooze into the light, and the light is beginning to neutralize it. Now it isn't going really fast, because it's scary to let some of that go, because the fear of the unknown. Even though you see at the conscious mind, hey, I'm not going to be burned at the stake, and I'm not going to be put in prison for being an actor, you know that very well. But at the soul level, because of the long journey and a lot of experience with the problems, your soul is very reticent to let it all go really quickly. And this is normal, because it's not sure. If I let go of the fear, what does that mean? What's the future going to bring? So there's fear of the unknown coming up here, the fear of the unknown. And also, there's a sense of not knowing who you're going to be when you really are moving into that place of the complete yes and the complete freedom to be who you are. Now, I don't mean freedom to be a sleazeball, or freedom to be, a couch potato to eat bonbons all day. I mean freedom to really develop all that you are, because what's now coming up is the fear of failure. You are so used to curtailing it after many lives of having issues with it, that there's no longer that sense of, I can do it. So there's a fear of failure here, which is very common. It's so normal. We all have fear of failure, and even fear of success, because the self-identity that you have brought forward into this life is one that has been curtailed. It is one that has not allowed itself to be fully flowering, so to speak, fully tapping into the immense wealth of gifts and talents that you carry, because it is immense. And so I want you to really begin to let go of the self-identity, however you speak about yourself. Even the idea that 8 to 10 years, it means that you're an overnight success. I want you to release the idea that it could take 8 to 10 years, because even that is part of an identity. Well, I'm working to be an actor, so I have to put in 8 to 10 years. Anything that we believe, anything we hold as part of who we are and what we're doing creates a limit. And then the outer reality mirrors those limits, mirrors those beliefs. So let's release to all of those belief systems about what you can and cannot accomplish, what is possible, what isn't possible. And I'm seeing a lot now coming out of the chest, out of the mouth, out of the throat, and out of the top of your head. It's as if, and I want to call in or activate this divine energy of the divine yes, the divine self-acceptance and all your gifts, and the divine understanding. And of course, we want divine possibilities and divine opportunities. And I want those divine energies to move in, through, and around, and to help not only neutralize and help with the releases of the elements that I've been speaking about, but also to bring in the empowerment to start creating from within the pathways where you can take those steps forward. Sometimes it is difficult to see where we want to go and even imagine how we're going to get there. We don't know all the doors that are going to open, all the steps that are going to be presented, where we're going to go. And you, I see, are on a multi-leveled steps, so there are going to be more than one thing developed at a time. I'm going to keep calling in and having you empower the divine yes, the divine opportunities, the divine movement, the divine expansion, the divine transformation, the divine manifestation of all that you are, all of those gifts and talents. And I see multiple pathways being created for you. There isn't one right way. In other words, you might work on 2 or 3 pathways at once, or just one, or shift over to another one over here and then go back and forth over whatever. There isn't any one right way. There is a tendency of looking with 2020 and thinking, oh, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done that. And I want that, any kind of tendency to do that 2020 business, to just be neutralized as much as you can. I want you to let it go. And actually there is a great sense of relief beginning to come up, and I'm beginning to see the fears that were moving very slowly. That's really beginning to start to move more. I really am seeing that coming out more. It's as if there was a point where you were able to accept the challenge, so to speak, and let go of the fear. And there's an element here of getting into the challenge, and kind of is exciting to see. And the excitement of the new, the excitement of the expansion is beginning to move in with all of the energies. And with that, you're like saying, fear, you're just letting it go. It's moving out, and it's coming out of the stomach a lot now, moving really fast into the light. As it hits the light, becomes neutral. It is neutralized by your divine light, and then the light absorbs it. And so the neutral energy becomes one with your light, and actually expands and empowers your own light. So it's all good. We don't want to ever let that neutral energy go, because whatever it touches, neutral energy can become, and you don't want it to ever come back to haunt you and connect with something negative or anything else out there that's negative. So we always absorb the neutral energy into the light. Now, okay. So I want to go back to the 2 symbols. The symbol of the U that is on the platform that was expanded, that symbol is growing. I see the expansion. I see it's almost like you might see a tree growing a lot of branches or something like that. You're not a tree, you're a person, but I'm feeling the development of the gifts and talents that you have. It's so interesting. The surfing is actually playing a big role here. I just want to say that that focusing on the surfing, it was not ever a mistake, that it was an important part of your process, and it will still be an important part of your process. So even though it's not part of your acting, even though it's not part of your artwork or music or whatever else creatively, the creative nature that you carry plays itself out in the surfing. That I'm not sure how, but I would imagine you would know, being a surfer. But in any case, there's also many experiences you've had, people you met that connect with your creative nature, will open doors for you, will give you ideas for artwork, for shows, for, I don't know, but the surfing is actually really important. So I especially don't want you to look at your surfing and think, oh, well, I kind of wasted my time there. And not that you would think that, but if you ever had a tendency to do that, I really want you to let that go. Now, the other symbol of the U on the other, that was the fear of commitment, is no longer looking petrified, no longer looking at the career platform, the opening of your gifts and talents platform. It is standing up, the you that was so afraid, you were like looking at it petrified, sort of cringing, kind of looking out of fear. The fear is really being thrown off. I'm seeing it now coming out off the front of you tremendously. It's just moving out of the front of you, and you're just allowing it to go. It's hitting the lights, transforming right away, neutralized, and then and becoming the light. It's really great, and you're doing a great job. Now let me just see. I want to just ask about, not you, but the higher selves, about the commitment to in relationships. Okay, this is tied to those lives that I said were very difficult for you, in that sense that you were traumatized by the way you were treated when you stepped out of the box, or you stepped forward, or you were trying to be who you were, and it didn't fit with the types of societies that you were in. And what happened was, often in those lifetimes, there was a tremendous amount of problems with loved ones. You actually felt that you hurt your family, your significant other, even your children or your parents, extended family, even the family of, say, the village or the compound you were in, or depending on the type of lives, because we've been in every life, from tribal lives all the way through to like dark ages and all of that. And so what's happened is you associate pain, giving pain to others by being who you were, and being the free spirit, being the open one that is ready to learn and accept things outside of what has been taught by the external authorities. And because if something happened to you, often your family also suffered. Often it was, the consequences were against the whole family, not just you. Or you would have the main consequence, but then they couldn't get food because you were the main food source, or whatever. I'm not getting a specific life. The higher selves are indicating that the details were different in many different lives. There wasn't a perfect storm kind of life, which sometimes I can get. But in any case, what happened was you tie the destiny to hurting others. And so I want you to let go of that self-blame. I want you to let go of the fear of hurting others, the fear of you're staying away from the commitment because underneath you're worried, how are you going to hurt them? It's really coming from this very beautiful, loving, caring part of you that's very gentle. You're just a very, very gentle soul, and have a lot to offer in a relationship, but you have a lot of self-doubt about yourself, whether it's conscious or not. It's there big time, and it's tied to those experiences. So I really want you to let go also of the misunderstandings, the misconceptions, the misinterpretations, and the self-blame and the self-attack that you carry relating to loved ones. And this isn't all that uncommon either. Where we blame ourselves, aren't we? We're our own worst critic, and we take responsibility for things that we had no say over. It's if we get punished and we've been killed, and then the authorities decide to wipe out the family too, it's really not our fault. It is, but we take it on as it's our fault, our responsibility, and we take on often this tremendous sense of guilt and shame, and I want you to release all of that too. I'm just watching it, and there's a lot of it coming out of the abdomen and out of the lower area, the lower chakras, the base of the spine. There's a lot of stuff coming out. Wow, there's a lot of stuff coming out of the second chakra and the root chakra, and there's just known and unknown. We don't have time. I'm running out of time at this point. So I really want you to let go of all of that, and just can't get into the details on the show, but I see it coming out, and I see you releasing it. You've carried that burden for a long time, and at the soul level, you really wanted to heal this. You really wanted to clear it, and it's a process. It's not happening all in one go, but you're taking some very good steps with it, and so now I see you standing on the commitment, the fear of commitment platform. You're standing with your feet, apart. There's a very big sense of self-confidence and commitment, and a really growing understanding. It's the soul level. You're let enough of the misunderstandings go, and we're going to call in divine understanding, clarity of vision, and expanded perception, and I really see you moving into, on this side too, a completely different view. I mean, to see the symbols shift from somebody who was cowering with fear to one who's standing very confident and very self-connected, and I want to activate that divine connection energy to help facilitate more of that. Now, I want to tell you that right now the session is just about closing. The higher selves are putting a cocoon of energy around you, and the cocoon will enable you to continue to process, even though the time that I'm doing it is stopping. It will allow you to continue to process, and it will also allow you to acclimate to the shift in your energetic field, which was quite large. We carry an enormous energetic field around us, and we're not even aware of it day to day. And then when we release and neutralize some of that energetic baggage, it does change the frequency of that energetic field, and it can sometimes have an effect on us, and so the cocoon helps acclimate us to that shift. And with that, you can open your eyes, and it's over.
Wow. It's really deep.
It was.
Very deep.
Could you relate to it at all, or was it all sort of mind-boggling? And
No, definitely. I can definitely relate to a lot of it.
I'm glad we did both the issues, because they
Mhm.
were tied, as it turned out.
They do intertwine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
It is true.
I don't know if you could relate to any of it, because so much of it was we can't relate to in this life when we don't see people being burned at the stake and things like that. But so it's
Yeah.
hard to relate to some of that, but it's really clear that
Yeah, I mean, maybe even just in my younger years, just those things might have pulled that type of stuff up.
yeah. Well, it keeps us from expanding at the speed we want.
Yeah.
So when we neutralize these things, we don't realize things can accelerate.
Yeah.
Things can move forward faster, more doors will open,
Mhm.
that sort of thing.
Exactly.
And that's what we want for you.
When you you can consciously understand it, and yeah.
We want you to have those doors that open. You have a lot. You have a lot. You're so unlimited. And
Thank you.
there's a
just
lot
have to yeah.
show. And everybody's different. Some people don't care about the information. They just want the process. They just want to do it. They just,
Yeah.
you know, and some people like to read, some people like to hear, you know.
It was definitely like my first spiritual healing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was cool.
Did you get a sense of any of the energies moving, or maybe not?
Well, what happens to me when I close my eyes is I see colors, shapes, and patterns.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it's definitely like digging into that.
Okay. Well, I love that.
Mhm.
I don't see colors as much as a lot of people. I see shapes a lot, but
Mhm.
not so much colors.
Yeah, the colors are very vivid in my eyes closed.
Okay. Very cool. So, did any particular color come up and dominate the?
I was seeing a lot of red.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I mean, I think red can mean whatever it means for you. It's not one right interpretation.
Something
Might have something to do with the fear.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah, except maybe because we were bringing that up, the red was just kind of overtaking. But I also saw like little dots of yellow like poking through.
Oh, nice. See, the light moving into the fear and neutralizing. I don't know.
That might be what it means.
Yeah, I don't know. But
You don't know.
But very cool. Now, I do want to just say to the viewers that I have a wonderful guest next week. Her name is Laura Fettig. She's pretty fascinating. She was in an accident 2.5 years ago, and she woke up speaking in a foreign accent.
Wow.
And she was born here in the United States, and lived in Michigan her whole life, and she's now part of the foreign accent syndrome, and there's very few around the world. She's part of a group. She was
That's
number
crazy.
63 in the world. And so she reached out to me for a session, and that's how I got to know her, and I found it so fascinating, I had to have her on.
How did they pick up that dialect? Like, is it just like?
She sounds like a combination of Czech, German, and French.
Wow, that is very
You,
interesting.
the viewers are going to find it fascinating. It's really fascinating.
That
So,
is.
so glad you were on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're
such a pleasure.
Okay, good. And you know, if you have any questions, any feedback, any comments, you can you or any of the viewers, any of you guys can email me at janet@higherselfvoice.com. janet@higherselfvoice.com. And Higher Self Voice is my YouTube channel, my Twitter, you know, it's all my social media. Do you want to
Awesome.
talk about any of your social media?
I mean, yeah, social media.
I mean, is there anything you want to advertise? Maybe not.
If whatever works. Yeah, I don't really like
You didn't-
self-advertisement.
Yeah, I know. You told me you didn't, but I was just.
I don't like talking about myself. that
Okay,
much.
yeah. Okay. I know. It's hard. It's hard for me too. In any case, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Preston.
It's a
And
pleasure.
thank you, viewers, for being part of the show. And next week, stay tuned for Laura Fettig. Thank you. Bye-bye.